Rain tapped softly against the windows of the sleek black SUV as the driver eased it to a stop at a red light. Inside, Nicholas Hayes, billionaire CEO of Hayes Tech, leaned back in the plush leather seat, eyes flickering over the glowing screen of his phone. A stream of emails, contracts, and executive updates awaited his attention, but he was distracted. For the first time in years, he had returned to the city that shaped him, the one he had walked away from with a cold, calculated determination. Nicholas had left behind not only the rundown neighborhood he'd grown up in, but also the fragments of a life too painful to carry. With every step toward wealth and success, he had buried his past deeper, convinced that he could outrun it. But memories had a strange way of resurfacing, especially when you least expected them. The red light turned green, but the SUV remained still for a moment longer. Nicholas lowered his phone and glanced out the window. A small diner, barely standing, sat on the corner. Its flickering neon sign buzzed weakly, Marla's Place. He hadn't seen it in over 2 decades, yet nothing had changed. The paint was chipped, the windows fogged, and the door squeaked on its hinges just as he remembered. "Pull over," Nicholas said suddenly. The driver hesitated. "Sir, just for a moment. I need some air." Outside, the rain had slowed to a drizzle. Nicholas stepped out, tightening his coat against the chill. Something had pulled him here, maybe nostalgia, maybe guilt. He crossed the street slowly, his $1,000 shoes splashing in shallow puddles. Inside the diner, the warmth and scent of coffee embraced him instantly. It was modest, with faded booths and a cracked linoleum floor. A bell jingled above the door. Behind the counter stood a man in his mid-30s, tall and lean with tired eyes. 2 small children, twins, no older than 6, sat at a corner booth sharing a plate of pancakes. The man looked up, his expression cautious, then slowly morphing into something unreadable. Nicholas froze. Recognition flashed like lightning. It was Daniel James. They had been inseparable once, best friends since 3rd grade, brothers in everything but blood. Nicholas had left without a word the day he was offered a scholarship to a prestigious prep school. Daniel had stayed behind, raising his infant twin siblings after their parents died in a car crash. "Nick?" Daniel's voice cracked. A lump formed in Nicholas's throat. "Dan, it's been a long time." Daniel walked around the counter, wiping his hands on a towel. His steps were slow, tentative. 15 years, maybe more. "I thought you disappeared." "I did." Nicholas shifted uncomfortably. "I'm sorry. I should have reached out." The air between them grew heavy. Daniel studied him for a moment, then nodded toward a booth. "Sit. You want coffee?" Nicholas hesitated before nodding. The twins watched him curiously, whispering to each other. One had a toothy grin, the other shyly looked away. Nicholas sat, uncharacteristically nervous. "They're beautiful," he said quietly. Daniel set down 2 mugs. "They're not mine. They're my sister's. She passed 5 years ago." A beat of silence passed. "I had no idea." "No, you wouldn't." Daniel's words were soft, not accusing. Just a statement of fact. Nicholas felt the weight of years pressing on him. He had money, power, influence, but none of it could erase the pain in Daniel's eyes or the echo of abandonment. The twins giggled as they played with syrup-covered pancakes. Nicholas smiled faintly. "They remind me of us." Daniel chuckled, the first genuine sound from him. "We were trouble." "You saved me more times than I can count," Nicholas murmured. Daniel shrugged. "You saved yourself. You always knew there was more out there." A silence settled between them, not uncomfortable, just full. "Why'd you come back?" Daniel asked finally. Nicholas stared into his coffee. "I'm not sure. My company's opening a tech campus here. I guess I needed to see it all again. See what I left." Daniel nodded slowly. "People change, but some things stay the same. Like this place. And you." Daniel smiled. "This diner belonged to Marla. She raised me after my parents died. When she passed, I kept it going. For her. For the neighborhood." Nicholas looked around. A teenage boy refilled napkin holders. An elderly couple chatted quietly. A young waitress smiled as she took an order. There was life here. Quiet, resilient life. "How do you do it?" Nicholas asked. "Keep giving when the world gives so little back?" Daniel glanced at the twins. "Because someone has to. And because it's worth it." Nicholas sat back, overwhelmed. In his world, people took more than they gave. He had climbed ladders built on favors and manipulation. Yet here, in a place most would overlook, was a man giving everything with nothing to gain. "Come with me," Nicholas said suddenly. Daniel raised an eyebrow. "What?" "Come work with me. I'll fund the diner. We'll keep it running." But I need someone like you at Hayes Tech. Someone with heart. Someone who remembers what matters. Daniel looked shocked. You're serious? Dead serious. The twins cheered as they finished their pancakes, oblivious to the magnitude of the moment. Daniel looked at them, then at Nicholas. You think kindness can scale, Nick? You think humanity fits in a boardroom? I think it has to, Nicholas replied. Or we're lost. Tears welled in Daniel's eyes, and he blinked them away. For the first time, Nicholas saw in him not just the boy he'd left behind, but the man who had quietly carried the weight of the world. Okay, Daniel said. Okay. Years later, on the day the new Hayes Tech Community Center opened, built beside the diner, funded by Nicholas's foundation, the city gathered. The twins, now teens, cut the ribbon. Nicholas stood in the crowd, tears slipping silently down his face. He had built an empire, but it was this: the sound of laughter, the warmth of shared purpose, the reunion of old friends that had made him whole. The past could not be undone. But in that unexpected encounter, amidst the rain and pancakes, two men found their way back to what truly mattered: kindness, selflessness, humanity, and above all,